everybody. It's me, Myra, at Down Home Money, a simple approach to financial freedom. And I've got something exciting for you today. So I've got my good friend Brad Troth here with me. And Brad, we're excited to have you.
Well,
Thank you for being here. So Brad is a successful businessman here in Northern Kentucky. And I just wanted him to share his story because he's built a rental portfolio and is doing a lot like what we're doing to build that passive income stream to have financial independence. So Brad, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Brad Trouth. Our company is Trouth Property Group. Grew up here in Northern Kentucky. Really came from the building side of the business first, and my father was a builder with a prominent home builder here.
Oh, okay, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, so he got me started at, I think we built our first house at I was about 12, and then another one at 17 or 18. So just came up in the building.
You were raised
trades.
in this, weren't you?
Fell into the construction management program at NKU here locally, and after college went the commercial construction side for a few years, but
building buildings, doing
big commercial building. Worked on the Reds ballpark downtown. And,
oh, exciting! Yeah, that's cool.
High-rise building in Pittsburgh and some parking garages in Columbus, but. In college, working for the home builder, I got a taste for entrepreneurship because I was a subcontractor for them.
Yeah, okay.
Had a pickup truck and tool belt, and had my phone and my schedule.
How
and
cool.
Got scheduled. Would get calls from superintendents who would schedule me to do work in their subdivision. So that gave me a taste for working for myself and not working by the hour, but working by the job.
Yeah.
And once I got that bug, I couldn't get it out of my
that
system.
Entrepreneurial spirit,
so I
right?
struggled through 3 or 4 years of working in an engineering job, and but it was just calling me back to start my own thing. So I did that in 2003 and just started building houses and really came into real estate through the home building side, and then started getting into rental property in I think 05, 06. We built a couple of 2 families, and so it's kind of progressed from those roots, and once I got to that point, I decided, I'm in real estate, I'm learning, I'm reading every book I can read, and might as well get my real estate license to, complement the
That was exactly my path, the same thing. Yeah. I did the same thing. I was buying rental property and decided I need to get my license. I might as well represent myself.
Yeah, that's how it's
smart.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, when you see the commissions and stuff that you're
might as well take it off the top, right?
Yeah, and you need to have access to the MLS and all the other tools that most agents have, and just getting that knowledge and expertise too, being around other other smart real estate people.
So how old were you when you bought your first property?
I was 23. Well, I built my first house for me when I was 23.
Yeah.
Me and a couple of friends were got a room together, and we said, hey, let's go rent something. And it was like, oh man, what if we bought something? So then we looked at stuff to buy, and then didn't take too long before I said, I'm in the construction business. I felt my dad built a couple of houses for our family. How about you guys just give me 6 months? I'll build a house.
That's exciting.
And then
that's so young.
I didn't look at it from the standpoint of real estate investing at that point. I really didn't set out to be a landlord.
Right.
It was just a couple, few guys trying
That's exciting, though.
Have a nice place to live in our early to mid 20s. So we did that, and they waited for me, and I built the house, and they were my roommates and paid me rent. It was, but it was a group effort. Yeah. And they even helped a little bit on the house. And
well, you were house hacking before it was cool.
Yeah.
They didn't call it that back then, but you were house hacking.
Yeah. And it was a great deal for all of us because we had an awesome house, beautiful house in Park Hills and real close to town.
Yeah.
In that age, it worked out well for.
That's cool. So how did you progress from there?
So I was working my engineering job through that when I built that first house, and that's after I did that, then I did one by myself pretty much. I had some help, here and there, and my dad was always there when I needed him for contacts and whatever else expertise. But proving that I could do that, then that was the next step. Was now I can do this. I can start a business doing this, and so I did that in 2003.
That's
so I built in 2000.
So you've been doing this for 17 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Full time. Yeah.
Full time.
I was doing it before that a while.
Right.
Yeah. What do you want to call that? Free. It was my side hustle, if you will. So yeah, then left my job full time in October of 2003. So yeah, I guess it's been 17 years.
Yeah. So real estate business has been good to you.
Yeah, it has. It has.
How's the rental market in this area right now? Because everybody's talking about, oh, you don't want to get in rentals because people can't pay their rent, and I have not seen that. No. I mean, I have not seen that. Even through COVID and all this, I haven't had anybody not pay their rent. Have you?
Fortunately, we have not had any issue whatsoever. In fact, our properties are in such demand that we continue to raise rents.
Yeah.
Now, we've kind of went into a period when this started where we stayed in more contact with our current tenants and just said, normally we renew every year between like a March and August is kind of the premium season for us. We try to do all of our turnovers and renewals during that time. So we kind of said, look, everything that's going on in the world, we're not going to raise rents because we start out our leases and our correspondence with people that rents are going to rise 2 to 4% every year.
Yes.
And if you're in good standing, we try to keep that on the lower
taxes
side.
go up, insurance goes up, everything goes up. So you have to. And I'm like you. I try to not. When I have good tenants, I try as hard as I can. But when taxes go, and our taxes have really gone up in the state of Texas. We have really high real estate taxes because we don't have state income tax.
Yeah, I knew that.
So whenever you don't have a state income tax, your real estate taxes are usually a little higher, and so. Because of that, we've had to do the same. We've raised rents. We've had to just because of cash flow.
Well, and it's how we force appreciation.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah, they don't think about that.
Single family homes, it's not quite as big of a deal, but when you've got multifamily properties, it's all based on the income approach for the for the comps and for the value. So
are you just building yours now? Are you just building stuff, or are you buying properties too?
Pretty much. We will. I'm constantly looking for stuff. I just don't look really, really hard for existing stuff. If it comes across my desk, I'll look at it, and if it's a deal, I'll go after it. But most of our attention is on new construction. This is what we do. It's just our niche, and I personally like the model. Because we can do it, and when we bring something online. It's brand new. 30-year roofs. There's a lot to be said about that. Water heaters are new.
So maintenance is really low.
Repairs and maintenance are you can anticipate that a lot better than you can, I think, with older houses, which I stay away from. And some of the stuff in our portfolio is we really don't have any. Maybe one property maybe that's prior to 1978. Yeah. So I try to stay in the newer construction era.
Yeah.
We've got some stuff. From the 70s, 80s-ish that we've, that's another thing that we've had success with is estate sale type stuff.
Oh, okay.
Where, stuff that hits the market, but it's not, the discount isn't good enough for the flippers.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Because y'all have a lot of that going on right here in this area, don't you? Still? Or are you still seeing, but even though it's so high right now?
Yeah, I hear the flippers that I talk to that they've struggled for 5 years probably. Once the market got so strong, they were all, as far as the ones I know, have had trouble finding good deals and getting the numbers to work and all that kind of stuff. And the foreclosure rate's really been low
here, right? Time. And it's low where I am too, and so it's just it is interesting how people need to understand is real estate is so local.
Oh, incredible.
It is so local. Like what's going on in Kentucky could be totally different in Florida. It could be totally different in Texas. Every state's different. And, I will say about this area, and we're right near Cincinnati in northern Kentucky, y'all's sales are through the roof. Your prices, your appreciation, everything's through the roof. We're starting to see in Texas a little bit of slowing. Like when I talk to some of our agents that do a lot of listings agents, we're still low on inventory, which makes it still a seller's market, but it's slowing down a little bit. Whereas y'all are still doing multiple offers here. It is interesting watching, but they say everything happens last over here in this northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. So it'll be interesting to watch. It is interesting. Yeah. So tell me, kind of, what tip would you give somebody that's looking to get into buying rental property? What would you say to them? Tell our audience what some of the things you've learned maybe that can help them,
read up. Everybody I think that's getting into this reads and studies and goes to lectures and whatever else they can do. So definitely do all that and educate yourself. But you've got to jump in, find a comfort level, and jump in and get that first property. And once you get that first property, I think that's the hardest thing for people to overcome. And,
I agree.
So many people think about, I don't want 2 mortgages or whatever. So once you get into this, you realize that, the rent, if you're doing your numbers right, if you're underwriting the right way, the rents are going to more than offset your mortgages and expenses. So, and once you get a track record with the bank of a couple of years and make sure everything's by the book, they don't do, if you keep it off record, then you don't get credit for it with the lenders.
That's exactly right.
In my case, at least,
yeah.
We use debt leverage, so for the most part, most of our stuff. So we need to look good for the banks and show them that the properties are performing and that we know what we're doing. And
do you buy in corporations?
LLCs.
Okay.
Pretty much.
You do LLCs.
Solely,
okay.
Our main company is an S corp, but most of the properties that we own are with partners. So you
do have partners.
Oh yeah.
So tell us about partnership. Because I think people need to understand that when you do bring in a partner, it's a different dynamic, right? Than when you own them by yourself.
Yeah, I mean it's been the only way for me really to do anything really. I mean we've even in the early days, my parents and I partnered on the first couple of rental properties we did, and opportunity. If you're out doing things, and at the time we were building, we would do jobs for clients, and a doctor and his wife we did some work for, and you start these conversations. They start asking you questions about what you're doing in real estate and whatever, and before you know it, a lot of people that are interested and have similar interests and want to diversify, and so that's how probably the next partnership started. So we created an LLC, and we have 4 properties. Are you
usually the one in control of that?
Yeah. Well, we're the lead. It's a partnership, so we put we're the ones in the trenches. So
I mean, there's got to be somebody that makes the decisions and that understands real estate part of it.
Yeah.
Because when you're bringing in partners, you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those are the tougher ones, to be honest. And
they are the tougher ones.
I've got a couple of those where I take the back seat. Half our portfolio probably I take the back seat to a couple other partners who are even more experienced and have other stuff, because it's a little different animal. There's some apartments that we own we're minority ownership in, and they have 1,100 units, so they know what they're doing, and the opportunity came to us to be a minority owner. So yeah, it just depends on what a partnership is. You bring together different skill sets and just different expertises. Some people are strictly hey, we have cash, we want to invest, we trust what you're doing, go. We have other people that are that, plus, hey, we're knowledgeable about real estate, we want to be more involved, and we actually go look at properties together and talk about things on a regular basis. So it just depends on the needs of that partnership. So yeah, you just got to put together.
You have to really know who you're in business with, right?
Oh yeah. You have to have some. You have to have some relationship prior to it. It takes time. I mean, it does. It really takes time to do something, get to know somebody. Then it leads to something like money.
Yeah, because it's financial decisions, that you're making. And I think that sometimes people don't really think it through. And I'm going to tell you another little secret that I learned about partnerships. Have an exit strategy before you go in business together. And have it documented. So I will tell you that if you do your exit strategy on the front end before there's any problems, then you're protected on the back end, because you know how you're getting out of this if it doesn't work out. And, and you hate to be doom and gloom on the front end, but that's how you're protected. Don't you agree? I mean,
I would say have multiple exit strategies.
Yes. Just because, business is business, and business is not easy. But you can make it easy when you document things. Y'all know my favorite saying, documentation beats conversation all day long. So if you get it documented, you're in good shape. You're protected. And so it's like everybody knows what we're doing, and we know the expectation.
Yeah, so. Full transparency on everything we do, open book accounting, we do quarterly reports with balance sheets and P&Ls,
P&Ls, oh my gosh, you guys see? He runs his business on P&Ls. Because I tell people, even if you have one rental property, you need to run it with a P&L.
Yeah.
Because if you don't treat it like a business, it won't provide you an income like a business.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What other tips do you have for our viewers?
Oh, Well, you were talking about this area, and we,
Yeah.
probably have people all over the country watching this. So we
Good.
be careful how much we. But no, I think a good, maybe we're behind some of the other
Yes.
bigger markets. But
Yeah.
I think, again, what we're seeing. You asked me a question earlier. The demand is off the charts for the rentals that we have. I think it's partly because the inventory is so low in housing. People who would normally purchase are coming to rent, and we are in a little bit of a higher. We're in the upper end of the average rental market.
Right.
We're 1,400 to 2,000.
Okay.
For our singles and twos and townhomes. But I think another thing that's happening here is the economy is really good. And
you have Amazon moved in.
Amazon.
So that has made it
monstrous.
huge.
2 million square foot warehouse.
It's unbelievable.
Attached to the airport.
And they're bringing all their people in.
We're starting to get that influx, and we're seeing it everywhere. And not just that, DHL is hiring 600. There's
really
Cincinnati in general, but Northern Kentucky especially is really has a lot going on with the.
Well, your price point. What do you think your average home here? The average price of a home?
What are we? 175 to 200?
200. I'd say.
175. Nationwide, it's 230 or 40.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'm in Texas. Ours is about 300 where I'm at because I'm right outside Dallas.
Oh yeah, the cost of living here.
Cost of living, and so that's why I think that we're getting such an influx because first of all, their dollar buys them more. Yeah. And I talked to a lot of people who live in Seattle, or I had a guy call me up from San Diego and talking about buying rentals in Texas. And, to him, Texas is cheap. To me, Kentucky is cheap, right? Yeah. It just depends on where you are and where you're going. Right. And he was saying, he goes, I'd be better off to move to Kentucky. And a lot of people are thinking about that. You're seeing people move out of California coming this way because of the cost of living.
Well, an opportunity too. If you're an investor, we did that. We moved to California in 2013 to kind of test the waters. We kept things going.
I did not know that, so that was perfect.
I had a 15-month-old, and we got out there and had some opportunities that we were looking at, and the red tape, and all the expensive things in California. Taxes and everything else. Yes. And very quickly we realized that as much as we love to live here because of the weather and the ocean, everything's beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The opportunity to do what we're doing now was back here for that. And that's when that was exactly the time that I really got serious about passive cash flow investing.
So what's your goals? What's your goal? What are you shooting for right now?
On the personal financial level, we're trying to create enough passive cash flow for financial independence.
I love it.
That's our family goal. That's my wife and I. That's all we focus on right now.
So y'all are a team. See, I think that's so important what you just said because your wife and you are focused on it. Because I tell people, if you get your family involved, it's way easier to really look at things as wants and needs. Do you want it or you need it, and which way are you going? Because I need financial independence, so I'm going to go with needs, right? Yeah. I love the idea of being free and financially free and having passive income streams. And, we reached it when I was 33, but we weren't shooting for the moon. We were shooting for $5,000 a month, and we got there. And so I know that there's a lot of people out there that are working on financial freedom, and that's what their goals are. And I always tell them, start small. Because seriously, the hardest goal is the first one. The hardest goal was because I wanted Rick to quit the police department. It was $3,000. That was the hardest. It took 10 years to get to that. Yeah. And then it starts moving a lot faster so that I could quit. It was another couple of years. So, but I love what you're doing, and I think it's a great goal. And I think that when your family's involved and you get the wife involved and the kids involved too.
Yeah. Oh, my boys own a house.
I love that. Are you serious?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
We're probably a year and a half or so into that. We partnered with one of my investor friends, good friend, and that's how we got into investing together and other stuff.
Yeah.
We got a couple of LLCs together, and we've been talking about college funds,
right.
And what we do with college funds, and looked into the normal plans. I forget the numbers and whatever it was. I didn't like the idea of somebody controlling that money or telling me what to do with that money.
Yeah.
So and it works for a lot of
people.
people.
And what if your kids decide they don't want to go to college? Then you're stuck, right?
I didn't understand that fully.
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel comfortable, and the discussions just continued to where we found a single family home in Fort Wright, and we each went in together. Each family went in, and we had some inheritance, maybe 10 grand.
Yeah.
One of my sons got from my grandma when she passed. So we had that sitting waiting for something like this.
Right.
So we matched that, and then they had kind of a similar situation. So we pulled the money together. So there's our 3 boys and their 2 boys.
That is
now it's in our name, but it's set
right,
aside.
but you know that is allocated.
That is the college fund house, and it's, you know, we got.
What a great idea!
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
We got a picture of them out in front. It's, you know, we meant to have them do a little more work than we did. They didn't really do a whole lot on it.
Well, they're kind of young. How old are your kids?
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
We've been having babies here for the last 8 years.
Yes.
We're 8, 4, and 2, almost 5 and 3 here. So we're almost 8, 5, and 3 in the next few weeks.
I love that. I mean, because they're gonna have pride and ownership of that.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna be so thrilled. I mean, especially because you're probably teaching them. This
you gotta
is your
make
house.
sure you explain it to them, because we told them we bought a house for them, and they thought they were going to move
in by themselves.
No. It's been great because my 8-year-old is a born negotiator, just business minded. I mean, this kid will.
Gosh, look what you're teaching him.
Oh, he sells rocks out of our mulch bed to kids at the corner. I mean, so I'm starting to talk to him about that, and you know, but he wants money because he wants to go buy something with it.
Yeah.
And we're like, we gotta start investing. We
teaching
gotta give.
him.
We gotta invest. We gotta.
I love that.
You know, we're trying to start.
Because I don't know about you, but I wasn't taught when I was young about money.
No.
I mean, my parents really didn't teach me about money. I just knew I went to them and they gave it to me. You know what I mean? I knew that I asked for it and you shall receive is what kind of how that worked. Well, then I got out of high school and realized, wait a minute, it didn't work like that anymore. You know, I mean, because they had always just provided whatever we wanted, not necessarily what we needed. You know, and so I think that it's so great to teach your kids at a young age about money and the respect of money.
Yeah.
You know, because money gives you options. Yeah. And so many times I watch people that are spending tomorrow's money today and going in such debt that they are tied to their jobs and they're going to always have to work because they're 5-10 years out on making an income to pay the debt over here. And so it's just interesting. I love your story. I love what you're doing. Anything else you want to just tell our viewers? Any tips or strategies that you want to give them that might help them on their journey to financial independence?
It's like what we talked about. I mean, you have to want it. You have to sit down and think about it. And my wife and I mentioned her, like, we're not like this on this investment stuff. You know, we're working together on it, but it's just because there's sacrifice. Right now we're investing in a big project. We're going to be doing 9 units, a 9-unit townhome building in Crescent Springs by ourselves. So
exciting!
Most of these things we've done with partners and whatever. And this particular one, and we may bring in partners at some point. This for just for some certain reasons, I decided to embark on it initially with just us and to get it off the ground and bring it online and make this success.
You're building
it. We're building it. So it's had some hard questions asked in the past even week or weekend.
Yeah.
Like, you know, money's going to be tight.
Of
for
course.
a while. Things are, you know, maybe we need to talk about some things but the reward at the end is going to be, you know, but you know, we don't really live. We could probably be financially free. We've hit that 5,000 mark. And our goal is 10 or 12.
Right.
If we can get to 6 figures passive, who can't make a great life?
You can
like
win.
That. So we still want to live, and we've been having kids. Excuse me. We've been having babies, so that's expensive stuff and formula.
It is.
So
it is.
We haven't really been in the mode of getting our expenses really low, but it's obviously I'm just focused on creating that passive.
Right.
At some point, we're going to be able to really start bringing the expenses back down, but we still like to live a certain lifestyle. We've got more house than I want right now.
Right.
I look forward to stepping back the next 1 or 2, hopefully, and cutting things back. But we're still living really, really nicely, making a good living. But that's part of it too, obviously, to try to get that. The quicker you can get to that passive number is to get your expenses down to a reasonable.
Well, and I think you nailed it. I think you said, you know, when you're in the working mode and you are building that, you're okay to not have to sacrifice a bunch over on this side. But when you start deciding, I'm tired of working, I'm going to, you know, we are going to live on that passive income. So then you start kind of bringing that back down. and it levels out. There's two ways to get there. You can make more money, and you make a lot of money. So you're still making a lot of money. You've gotten smart about that. You realize that these years, when you're young especially, go work extra hard. Go do the side hustles. Go do whatever it takes to make a lot of money, because that's one way. The other way is to get really purposeful with your expenses, and so it can be done either way, either or. There's no set. What I love about financial freedom and financial independence and the FIRE community, quite frankly, I love the FIRE community, is the fact that they figure it out. And guess what? Financial freedom is for everybody. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are. It is a matter of delayed gratification. And what are you willing to do to get where you want to go? And then just decide how many years do you want to make it to get there. I mean, like, what is your goal? How many years do you see
55,
yourself?
Yeah. And again, I'm replacing the term retirement with financial freedom.
I love working. I love, not even working. This isn't working.
About retirement. And
no.
I'll be at the beach a lot, sure. And I'll be on a boat a lot.
Exactly.
But I have a boat now too. I'm
exactly.
not saying I'm not going to have anything, and then someday I'm going to have everything.
And I think they need to see more people like that. I think that they need to see more people like that, because they see a lot of people living really cheaply and scrimping and saving and reusing Kleenex.
Yeah.
That's not who we are. We just know that we want to build a passive income to where we don't work anymore. Or actually we can, because I don't feel like I work anymore now. I don't work. Everything I do, I enjoy, because I got rid of all the stuff I didn't enjoy. So once I hit financial freedom, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. And that's what it gives you. It gives you the right to choose, right? Money gives you options. Yeah. And options are what you want in order to live your best life. Yeah,
especially in these kind of times when
this is when you really appreciate
it.
From
under us and the lights get turned off and everybody's shut in.
That's right.
This could happen again.
Yeah, we don't
Hopefully
know, right?
Ever, but it's weird things like this. It'll be something else down the road. There'll be some challenge.
Yes.
And if you, that's.
So be smart with your money is what you're saying.
Yeah, be smart and have multiple income streams. Passive cash flow. And,
yes. Yeah. Well, thank you for being with us today.
And
thank you guys for coming back with us. Remember, we're ordinary people that are doing extraordinary things with our money, and financial freedom is yours. It's not how much money you make. It's how much money you keep and what you do with it. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. See ya.